Rewards! We're talking about reward systems today. My name is Sharon, and I have been with VIPKID since 2016. I have used my fair share of reward systems, and I have seen a whole lot more reward systems from lots of really creative applicants in the mock class process. So today I wanted to go over some key features of a reward system so you'll know if it's a good reward system, if it's going to last the test of time, and if it's going to be engaging and useful for you in your classroom time and time again. So we're going over 5 key points of reward systems today, and I'm going to show you my absolute favorite reward system that I use all the time that I have actually never seen someone else use in all of these mock classes. So stay tuned for that, and we're going to jump into this. But before we get to that, let's talk about some sort of nuts and bolts commonly asked questions I get regarding the mock class and reward systems. What's the deal with the stars, right? In the mock class, you might be able to see the stars and even click those, and it looks like you're giving them to the mock class mentor, but as of February 2019, your mock class mentors do not see those stars. That might change one day, fingers crossed that it does, but for now, don't worry about them. I can't see if you're rewarding them to me, and so even though you might think you're like giving me all these extra pats on the back and stars, I don't see it, I don't know that, so it's just one more thing for you to worry about. That is, don't worry about it. When you're with actual students, we always give stars. They can use those stars to buy things and put things on their avatar. I don't know, there's things on the student's end. So I always give the student all five stars if they're putting any effort at all into class. I have never not given the student all 5 stars. And I'll usually go back and forth between my reward system and the star reward system. So you always need to use both. You can use the reward system we provide you with in the interactive lessons, but really you might kind of get bored with those after a while, and so I always have my own reward system that I can use. I'll reward the student more or less every other slide, so by the end of the class they've received 5 of the stars and then 5 of my reward system. When you're in the mock class, you should give your student 2 to 3 rewards in that 10-minute time period. Likely 3 if you're getting through all of the slides. So again, more or less every other slide is how often you should reward the student, and it shouldn't take very long because we don't want that to suck up all of our time. As far as introducing your reward system, keep it simple. When you do a good job, you will get whatever it might be. If you're on an interactive slide and we have, for example, toys in the basket, I need you to model how the student is going to need to do that reward system. So when you do a good job, you will get a toy. Drag and drop. So I will drag and drop one into the basket for them, and then I'll have them do it as well so that they have a sense for how that works before we jump into things, and it's very clear this is what you will be getting, so it's motivational for them and they want to be working towards that as we get in the class. So now let's get into what elements your reward system should have. Number 1, your reward system should be engaging. That's why we have a reward system, so that the students want to keep paying attention and looking forward to those things. If your reward system is, good job, you get a thumbs up. Good job, you get a thumbs up. We need to engage the students, so come up with something creative. You don't have to reinvent the wheel here, but for example, if you decide like, I'm not a terribly creative person, I'm just going to use the mouth and the tooth, that's fine. That's what I did for my initial mock class as well. But make it interesting. So maybe one of the teeth is really crazy, or maybe the teeth are different colors, or maybe the smile is a little, weird at the end. So that it's something that kind of keeps the kids engaged and they're not sure what is coming next, or at least they're excited to see what is coming next. So make sure that your reward system is engaging and fun. They're kids after all. We want to make this a fun, positive experience. The next super important thing is that your reward system is countable. So we want to make sure we're not just showing the same thing to the student over and over again. I see this sometimes in mock classes. People have something that's pretty cool, and so they'll say, great job, you get a dinosaur. Okay, fine, we go on. Great job, you get a dinosaur. Great job, you get a dinosaur. After the second or third time the student is catching on, you're just showing me the same thing over and over again. It's not terribly exciting to just keep looking at it. So make it something that is unique. Maybe we're getting multiple dinosaurs. That's pretty cool. And then countable, so at the end of the class you can track their progress. Great job, you got, and I will count however many rewards they got at the end of class, and that will help them feel accomplished. And that'll also help them see all of the great things that they have earned in your class. Countable, really important. Another great thing that you should be able to get from your reward system is extension. Every class we want to make sure we're not just teaching what's on the slide. We want to teach some new information as well. This is part of the engagement factor. It's just something that we're looking for in each of our classes to make the lesson a little more personable and interesting for the students. So for example, if I am doing the fruit basket reward system, which is one that I use a lot, I'll say, great job, you get a banana. Instead of that just flying away, I'll say, banana for my low-level students, and then they just get to learn the names of the different fruits as we're going through. If it's a higher-level student, I'll say, great job. What do you see? And they can tell me if they know the names of the fruits. And so that's a little more engaging that way. Whatever it is, your reward system should give you some sort of material that you could use to extend the lesson. It doesn't have to take a long time, but that'll be a great way to keep the student engaged and to just keep them interested, pique their interest for that reward system. Now, number 4, it does not have to be true for your reward system to be good, but it's a pretty great bonus. Your reward system should be adaptable for lower and higher level students, or younger and older students, or boys and girls, right? It would be nice if you don't have to have a million reward systems. So here's one that's only really good for 4-year-olds, and here's one that's only really good for 12-year-olds. If you can have some multi-purpose reward systems, then your house will not be overrun with piles and piles of rewards and crap. So, reward system that is adaptable for different ages is awesome. Likely, it just takes a little thinking outside the box with what you already have. So, for example, making the good old hamburger, this is a reward system that I will often use. I'll go through and I'll tell the student, what do you see? And they can learn, again, the different parts of a hamburger. And if they're younger students, maybe I will just tell them and they repeat it. Or maybe, again, we're just talking about colors. Higher level students, I can ask them, what else do you like on your hamburger? Or maybe for each thing, I'll say, do you like cheese? Right? Do you like pickles? Or even, what kind of meat do you think this is? So that we can get a little bit of conversation, not a full-on conversation, but a couple sentences for each one so that we can get the student talking. For higher level students, they should be talking at least 70% of the time, so my reward system should lend itself to that. Again, if I'm just giving a monkey bananas, there's not a lot of conversation I can have with a higher level student about a monkey getting a banana. There's nothing. So good for lower level students, but higher level students, I want to get some more out of them. All right, and I would say number 6, which is kind of my extra bonus, is that it is reusable, so that I can pull it out with the same student periodically and they're not like, oh gosh, here we go again, the teeth in the mouth. I don't mean to say teeth in the mouth are the worst. Surely you can use it. Sometimes VIPKID has suggested reward systems that just aren't the best. Not that they're bad, they're just not the best. And so think outside the box and know that you can come up with your own ideas that might be awesome. So something that's reusable, again, like Mr. Potato Head, for example, I can reuse him because I can put the body parts in different places, which they think is fun. Maybe we start with all the body parts on and then we take them off. Maybe we start off and then we put them on, right? So I can reuse that one. And then another reusable one is the sandwich. And so as we're going through, maybe the first time they just get everything on there. And then if I'm going to use it again another day, I can ask them, do you want this on your sandwich? Yes or no, right? And so then we're making a whole different type of sandwich with just their favorite things on there. Or maybe so reusable is something really great. It just takes a little bit of thinking outside the box. Likely reward systems you already have laying around, you could reuse them just by pulling on the student's memory or getting more opinions or more engagement with the reward system out of that. Am I saying 6? 5. All right, so those are our 5 main categories for your reward system. Number 5 is kind of an optional extra, but it is engaging, countable. You can extend it, you can use it with higher and lower students or younger and older students, and wouldn't it be awesome if you could continue to reuse that and make it interesting multiple times? That's what I want to see in a reward system. So my favorite reward system, I have never seen someone use in a mock class, and I've never even heard another teacher talk about it, which surprises me because it's really awesome. I use it for every trial student, I use it for any new student, and I use it pretty frequently for my regular students. And you likely have it lying around or can find it just in any old thrift store. And it is... Da-da-da-da-da-da-dong! What's the name for this thing? The pop-up puppet toy thing. I'm not sure what it's called. I think a popper-upper is what I would call this toy. But this thing is awesome. I kind of inherited it when I had my first baby, and I don't think she actually ever got to play with it. I'm a really good mom. When my friend gave it to me, I was like, whoa, I see the potential, and I claimed it for myself, and I've never looked back. And sometimes my kids come over and they want to play with it, and I'm like, no. Hands off, it's mine, I rely on it. So let me show you how it meets all of these 5 categories that we talked about and why you need it, or at least you need a reward system that also meets these 5 categories. Number 1 we talked about is that it is engaging and creative, right? So the fun thing about this is there's a little bit of a mystery. We don't know what's underneath each of these boxes. And so they pop up, which is fun, and I'll make little drum roll sounds when they come up, and the kids get to find, oh, see, that one even has like a squeak. And the kids get to find out which animals are kind of hiding in the boxes. So that's really fun for the kids, and they get pretty excited by the end. At first, they're a little confused, you know, but then they start to see things coming out. They're like on the edge of their seat by the end of class. What is going to be in that last box? So I always find my students are engaged and interested in this reward system. The second category we have is that it's countable. So obviously we can count how many are here, but the cool thing about this is they're also numbered. The third category that this meets is extension. With my low-level students, I will usually just talk about the colors on here. So I will either tell them the color and have them repeat it after me, or I'll see if they can tell me what the colors are. They're pretty basic colors. Or we can get extension by talking about which number it is. Again, if it's a really... Poor sick Bruce. Again, if it's a really low-level student, then we're doing extension just by learning numbers 1 through 5. Every student I do this with gets some extension by learning animal names, which is really fun, and animal sounds, because why not? Anytime I can make an animal sound in class, that's a win, and kids really like it. We've alluded a bit already to number 4, which is that it's applicable for higher and lower level students, or younger and older students. So again, my extension is just talking about colors and numbers if they're lower level. Sometimes I will also put questions in here if it's a higher level student that's used it before, and when it pops up, then I have to open the question and I'll ask them, what's your favorite place? What's your favorite color? So getting some conversation out of this can definitely happen here. This also kind of blends into our super awesome number 5 category, which is that it's reusable. If I have a student that has used this reward system before, then I will start off class with, let's see if we can get lines down. Here we go. Then I'll start off class with, today we will find the monkey. You know, because they're familiar with it, they might say, oh, I know where the monkey is, but often it takes students the whole class to find that monkey. Or if they find it right over here, then I'll say, awesome, now let's find the panda. And so just kind of jogging their memory to see if we can find those things again. That's usually a fun way to reuse this. If your reward system meets those 5 categories, you're going to get a lot of life out of it and a lot of conversation, extension, engagement. It's going to work in your favor. You don't want to be working against your reward system like, oh, this is taking up my time. Oh, this is so confusing. Why is this not connecting? Give yourself a reward system that will lend itself to you meeting the objectives, meeting your goals for the lesson, and that'll do you so many favors in class, and it'll make your life a lot easier. All right, there you have it. The 5 categories that your reward system should have, plus my absolute favorite reward system. And I know you're like, I need the popper. I'll put a link to it if I can still find it on Amazon. I'll put a link to that in the information below, in the description below. But I promise you, this is not the solution to all your problems. This is not the one and only reward system that will work in your class. I've seen so many creative reward systems that people bring into their mock class. So think outside the box. Think about what you already have laying around your house, because I promise you don't need to pour a lot of money into this. Things you already have in your house can be really engaging and fun for the student if you can make these 5 principles apply to them. So see what you have. You've totally got this. I hope you feel better prepared for your mock class. And if so, if you're ready to apply with VIPKid and you don't have a referring teacher, I can be that person for you. I have helped lots of people already get hired to teach with VIPKid successfully, and I have been a mock class mentor since 2016. So I have lots of insider tips and tricks and answers to lots of questions to help you feel comfortable and prepared to pass your mock class and be a successful teacher with VIPKid. I'll put my email address here. Please email me with any questions you have, even if you're an experienced teacher with VIPKid. Email me questions, I promise I will respond. Again, if you have not applied to teach with VIPKid yet and you feel ready to do that, then here's my referral code. You can apply with that, and then I'll be able to track your progress and help you throughout the application process. I'll also put a link to my application link where you can apply using that link, and so we'll also be connected that way if you use that link. I hope these help you guys have more success in your classes with VIPKid, and you guys are going to do fabulous. Use those reward systems, engage those students, and best of luck to you.